Before Islam, Egypt was a Christian land. When the Arab Muslims invaded in 641 AD, they called the local people Copts, a derivation of the Greek word for Egypt, Ekyptos. Thus, the Arabs called the local people simply Egyptians, underlining the fact that they were foreign invaders. The capital of Christian Egypt was Alexandria, named after Alexander the Great. The Church of Alexandria was founded in 42 AD, which makes it the longest uninterrupted institution of Christianity on earth. After the invasion, the Copts were relegated to dhimmi status under Islamic Sharia law. Christians could continue to worship, but were not allowed to build new churches or renovate the churches that already existed. Dhimmis were required to pay a tribute tax to the Muslim rulers and acknowledge Muslim supremacy. Dhimmis were prohibited from bearing arms or giving testimony in court cases involving Muslims. Obviously, these laws were designed to eliminate the indigenous religions, making it too humiliating and costly to maintain a different faith in a Muslim land. And in Egypt, they've had their desired effect. The former Coptic Christian majority now makes up only 10% of the population, under siege and decreasing every day. Their second-class status is underlined periodically by violence and destruction. In October 2005, angry Muslim crowds gathered around St. George's Coptic Church in Alexandria. One man burst into the church shouting, "Allahu Akbar," and stabbed a nun and a male parishioner. Before Islam, Iran was Persia. Persia had existed as an empire and a fountain of civilization and culture for more than 1,000 years. On the eve of the Arab-Muslim invasion in 637 AD, the religion of Persia was Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic faith that rose in Persia at about the same time that Judaism developed in the Levant, and it had a profound influence on the three Abrahamic religions, as well as the religions of the East. After Persia's fall to Islam, Zoroastrians were relegated to dhimmi status. Today they number less than 200,000 worldwide, the largest community being India, where refugees from Iran found some tolerance. In Iran itself, about 22,000 Zoroastrians remain, or less than 0.1% of the population. Before Islam, Iraq was called Assyria. Prior to the Arab-Muslim conquest, the majority of its inhabitants were Assyrian Christians. By the dawn of the 20th century, dhimmi laws, persecutions, and conversions had reduced their numbers to about 5% of the Iraqi population. On the eve of the US-led invasion in 2003, this had dropped to 1%. A lot of noise has been made about the plight of Iraqi refugees since 2003. What is less widely known is that Assyrian Christians make up 40% of the 1 million refugees that have left Iraq, despite making up less than 1% of the population. These refugees represent 2/3 of the pre-war Christian population. The removal of the tyrant Saddam Hussein allowed the Sunni and Shia Muslims to revert to the customary persecution of their Christian neighbors. Frivolous events such as the Danish Muhammad cartoons have had very real repercussions for Iraq's dwindling Christian community in the form of bombings and murders. 7 churches were bombed in January 2006 in retaliation for the dreaded cartoons of blasphemy. Since the start of the war, at least 46 churches and monasteries have been bombed. These are 3 brief examples, but this story has been repeated wherever Islam has asserted itself. When Islam comes to a new nation, its purpose is not to adapt to the fabric of the host society, or to become just one religion among many equals. Its goal is to become the dominant religion. The Muslim belief is that once a territory has been under Muslim rule, it can never be relinquished again. And so, former Muslim colonies such as Spain, Israel, and the Balkans are high on the list for reconquest. But make no mistake, any territory is fair game. The territories where Islamic law is in force are known as Dar al-Islam, the domain of Islam. Territories ruled by infidel law are known as Dar al-Harb, the domain of war. This means that any non-Muslim territory, whether it be ruled by humanists, atheists, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, etc., is fair game for conquest. In 2003, UK-based Sheikh Yusuf al-Quadrari said, quote, It has been determined by Islamic law that the blood and property of people of Dar al-Harb is not protected." Unquote. These are the unvarnished, politically incorrect truths about the way in which Islam views the rest of the world. The three vanquished societies I have highlighted are tangible evidence that this creed is translated into action when conditions are favorable for conquest. Please keep this in mind as you make decisions that will determine the future path of your own societies.